Hi, let's talk about PHP operators. So, as a construction worker has tools, as we have operators who are always at our hand to help us create beautiful functions. So, operators are being of 8 types. Those are arithmetic, assignment, comparison, increment, decrement, logical, string, array, and conditional operators. So let's pass by them one by one and let's see each one of them in action. So to do this, let me echo HTML code, which is gonna separate from what we have done before. Let me put also BR before that, and let's say here PHP operators. That's it. Let's check out if our PHP server is running correctly. Yes, everything is good. Let's again put another BR and pass to examples. So we have arithmetic operators. So let's start from them. So these are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus signs. So what are them? I believe you should be very familiar with each one of them. So for example, addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, they are doing the same job as you would expect them to have in maths. So for example, let's create two variables. Our m variable is gonna hold the value of 5, and our r variable is gonna hold the value of 10. Now let's try to echo out what will be the result of multiplication of these two variables multiplied by r. So having everything at hand, we shall be able to see already 50 printed in our website. So it's the same. If we divide, it will be 0.5, and the same logical way you will have in addition or in subtraction. So but let me just explain you about modulus sign. So what does the modulus do? For example, when you divide 50 by 10, you get a clean result of 5. But if you divide 52 by 10, you will get 5.2. So what the modulus does, it just tells what is the number of integers left after division. So if we divide 52 by 10, we will get result of 2. If we divide 53 by 10, we will get the result of 3. So let me give you a practical example. Let me make it the value of m 53. So here it is. Let's use modulus for these two variables. Let me use r. So we shall be able to see number 3 written in our page. So that's it. So these are all arithmetical operators. The next type of variables are assignment operators. So let me show how they are working. Let me write here down for you. So to reach the maximum effect, so let me show you that we already have used it many times. Like here you should equality sign. On the left side is the name of the variable, and on the right side is the value. So this is the system we used for creating of all the variables. So here we are already using assignment operator, which is this equality sign. So the value on the right is being assigned to value on the left. So the same process is going to happen if I tell that our m variable is equal to r. So I forgot to put semicolon here. Just make sure every time you put them correctly in place, otherwise you're gonna have errors. So let me echo out our m variable. As you can see, it was 53 before. Now it has changed its value and got the value of r, which is 10. So pretty simple. What's on the right side, it becomes the value of what's on the left side. On the top of that, we have also addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus operators for the same assignment, but how they are working. Let me give you an example. For example, if we want to update the value of m, and we want to have the value of m have additional 10 integers. So instead of 53, it needs to become 53. We can write it down in this way, like we are using in maths. So m plus 10, and it's completely okay. It's completely simple, and you can do the same for all the other arithmetical operator as well. So if you want to multiply, if you want to divide, it's the same, but there's also a shorter way. So we are putting $ m plus equal, and that's it, plus equal 10, for example. And the number you want to add here, plus equal 15. So line 50 and line 51 represent the same. In the same way, you can do about multiplication or division or for modulus sign. So let me delete line 50. Let's do plus equal and see what we get as a result. Let's check it out, why the value is not changing. So let's remove our assignment operator. We don't need to assign anymore, and we will see the result. Yeah, 53. Okay, we forgot to echo out. So we need to echo out after we did an assignment. That's why we did not see the updated results. So, okay, 68. So these are the numbers we are getting. So we added additional 15 points to our integer. So this is how it works. So we did also assignment operators. Now let's understand how comparison works. But before we pass to comparison and other operators, let's now study about if conditional logic. So nice. We reached to the point where we can already talk about what is conditional logic. So let me give you a practical example. So let me put multi-line commenting. So how it works, we put if sign, we write if, then we open and close brackets, and then there is jam. So this is how we make conditional logic. We write if, then we open and close brackets, then we put opening and closing semicolons. And inside these brackets, we write the condition upon which we will do what's going to happen here. So let me write here, if conditions are being met, so here we write all our conditions. So if conditions are met, execute the function. Or execute the code. So the code that is written here, it will never be executed if conditions inside these brackets are not true. And if these conditions are not true, we can specify that the other condition, else if, for example, let me tell you, if the car of a neighbor is green, but if we tell it, we don't know if it's green or no. So let's specify other condition. What is gonna happen if it's red? We can specify as many else if conditions as we want. So let me copy and paste the code, and it can be yellow as well. And let's imagine there are like many colors in the world. So if it's none of them, we are putting else. So this is how it's going to how the code will be interpreted by the server. So if the car is not green, it will not do this code. And go to check the second line, the line 55. It will see if it's red or no. If it's red, okay, it will execute the code inside these semicolons and won't continue to look on the others. And in the same way, if it's not true, it will pass to other else condition, telling it's yellow. Okay, if it's true, it executes the code inside these semicolons and does not do anything, interpret any other code that comes after. And in the end, what's else? So else is being done if none of these ifs or else ifs is true. So let me write it down here for you. Execute it if none of the ifs or else ifs conditions are met. I believe if you have watched my other videos, we talked about Boolean values, and I told you that you will understand better what are Booleans. So Boolean variables, they answer to one question, if it's true or false. Like here, the car of a neighbor is green, so there is just two possible answer, yes or no. If the answer is yes, so the code is being executed and we don't see other code running. So that's it about how conditional logic works. So this is the most advanced and interesting method, but there's also other method in PHP which is called switch, which is not so popular, but it's always nice to know how switch works. So this is how switch works. Instead of if, we write here switch. In n, we specify the variable. For example, here in our case, it can be the car. So let me delete all this area and let's start really writing the switch statement. So we don't need this or if example. That's it. So let me create a variable called car color, and I'm gonna set this to beige. So let's write our switch statement. So switch, we are putting the variable car color here inside the brackets, then opening and closing semicolons, and we are writing cases. So if the case is red, so we are checking for these values. So we are telling if the value inside car color is red, we are putting ending sign, and we are writing the code which needs to be executed. So the car is red. After this we close by semicolon and we put break. So what does the break do? So break tells, okay, you echoed this case is true, break. So don't do any code or try to read any code that comes after this. But if this case is not true, it's passing by all these two lines of codes and checks for the other case if it's true or no. So let's do the second case. If the car is yellow, we basically follow the same process, so we can copy and paste the code. This car is yellow. And let's make also third case, which is our beige color. So the car is beige. And as I told it, if we had else, which comes last and shows what and tells the program what to do if none of the above conditions is true. So here we use default for that reason. So in the same way, we echo out, sorry, none of the guessed colors is true. We put semicolon and that's it. We don't need to use break anymore because this is the last line of code inside our switch. So we have written it. Now let's put another line break so as the lines don't collapse and it looks neat and tidy. Let me put two others also after, and let's see the result. The car is beige. Excellent. So as you can see, the value is beige, and so our case of beige is executed in the following way. So the server started to read our function and checked for case red. Okay, it's not true, it passed it. It checked if it's yellow, again it passed it, so it's beige, okay, and the code is broken, so it's no longer reads what comes after that. In our case, is the default value. Let's change the color and make another nice color. Let's say silver, and none of this will be true, and just the default code will be executed. So this is called conditional logic. This is used literally everywhere in programming, like everywhere you could imagine, like the same you use in Facebook, the same you use in any kind of program. Like, let me open a website for you and show in practical example how the conditional logic is working in that website. Let's not go far and use Instagram, the website I believe everybody of us knows. So okay, so check, when you open Instagram and you are logged in, you simply go to your page. But in our case, you see that the Instagram page has opened for us the login area. So what happened there? Basically, the server saw that we are not logged in, and it says if you are logged in, redirect to the page of the user. If and else, just open login page. So it's just an example of how conditional logic works in the most popular websites. So any program, any programming language, you absolutely need to understand how this works. So having understood how conditional logic works, now let's pass to other types of operators, which are comparison operators. So as a few lines upper on 41, we declared variable called m. So what does this m variable have? It's the value of integer 53. So what comparison operators do, it helps us to compare if something is bigger or smaller, and on that basis execute our conditional logic. So let's this time use if statement, because we already understood together how to use switch statements. So for this reason, let's write, for example, our, let me check, our y, let's use y has the value of 15. So if our y is more than 10, then echo out, hey, I have a value more than 10. That's it. And else, and if it's and if it does not meet the condition, we will say we will just, hey, I don't have a value more than 10. So it's pretty simple, and let's see what echoes out. Hey, I have a value more than 10. But on the top of that, if from the math we know it can be not just bigger, it can be big or equal to 10. So if we put the value of y to exactly 10, we will see that our condition won't be met. So I don't have a value more than 10. But if we make it bigger or equal, this time the condition would be true. In the same way, we can have smaller or equal. So let's see what's the result. So it's smaller or equal, but we remove equality sign, the condition would be met again. So this is it. And so these are arithmetical comparison, but we also need to compare values. So let me create two variables for us to test this out. So variable first, which is gonna hold the value of sheep, and let's declare also second variable, which is gonna hold value of sheep again. So let's understand that we can, if you want to compare two variables, there are two types of equality that we need to consider. So basically, if you want to compare two variables, we shall never use just one single equality sign. We just use this for declaring and giving a value to the variable. Instead, we are using two or three equality signs. So here is how they are working. So if we are putting two equality signs, this basically means these two variables will be equal if they have the same value, but they can also have different data types. Let me show you on the number example. If I make here 5 as a string and I put here 5 as an integer, if I use two signs of equality, the condition of their comparison will be true. Let me show you on an example. So if our variable first is equal to our variable second, let me paste it here. So if it's equal, we're gonna echo yes. And if it's not equal, we are gonna echo no. So that's it. Now let's see the result. So that's it. Now let's see the result. Yeah, it is. It tells yes because these two variables are equal. But if we put 3 equality signs, we are going to see that we see no here. Why is it so? Because 2 equality signs means that they are equal. 3 already means that they are equal and they have the same data type. So in our case, our first variable is a string and the second is an integer. So that's why they are not working out together. Another nice thing to know to tell when things are not equal. So to tell that things are not equal, we are putting exclamation mark and equality. So this basically says if they are not equal, and if we add another equality sign, this means that they are not equal and they are of not same data type. So if we put here 2 signs of equality, we are going to get yes, because although they are equal, but they are not of same data type. Let's pass now to another type of operators, which are called increment and decrement operators. So what they are, let's say we have a number and which needs to add one integer every time we call that function. So let me write it down for you. So let's call it function add number, and let's declare a variable here called x, and this x is gonna hold the value of 1, and every time we need to echo it out, and we also need to add that x by 1 plus plus. So what this basically does, every time we call the function, this x is going to add another value to 1. So let me call this 3 times and see what happens. This is 1, 2, and 3. Let's go and see our page. Every time we get 2. So what's the reason? Every time we call a function, variable x is being declared, and then it adds a value to 1, it becomes 2, it's being echoed out, and then our x variable is being deleted because we are done with the function. So what we need to do right now, we need to make PHP to remember what the value of x and not delete it after the function is executed. So let's add word static in front before we so let's add word static before we declare the variable. Nice. So now every time the function is executed, x variable won't be deleted from the buffer. It will be saved there. So we are not going to get the same numbers, but it will be 2, 3, and 4. But to make the things more beautiful, let me add a BR here, just to make sure that we see every time the function executes on different line. So that's nice. You can see 2, 3, 4. So beautiful. We understood how increment plus operator works. We can also make minus minus. So every time we will have -1 when the function is being executed. So 0, -1, -1, and -2. That's beautiful. But it's also possible to add the increment and decrement operators before the variable. So what's the difference? So we can use it also like this. So let me delete fully this line of code and add ++ here, and only then echo the result, and let's see what we get. So 1, 2, 3. So what happened? Obviously, when we add ++ after the variable, it returns the variable and only then adds the number. That's why we don't see 2, 3, 4. So when first time this on line 88 the function was called, it echoed out x, which is 1, and only then it added one more value, one more number to it. So to make the variable to show its content just immediately, we need to add the operator before the variable, and right now we are going to add an integer and only then to echo. The same principle is going to work also for minus operator. So continuing to last section of our class, let's study about logical operators. So what are logical operators? They are used to combine the conditional statement. So we talked about conditional statement, which is if and else, do something if something is correct or no. So let's see how we can really use them in real life examples. So let's start from end. For example, let's say we have two variables. It's true variable 1, which is gonna have the condition of true, and true variable 2, which is again, let's put it a value of true, and let's before it echo a line break so as we can distinguish between our lines of codes. And let's tell if so if either true variable 1 and true variable 2 are correct, are true, we are going to echo I am true, and if no, we are gonna just tell that I am false. So that's it. Let's see the result. Here I am true. So what we have done here, both the conditions are true, so we can see that result is true. So yeah, we can use any other type of condition. For example, if variable second is bigger than 4, and we can use it as a second condition. So you can put as many conditions as you would like according to the way your application needs to work. But in this case, when we are using AND, it will return true only in case both of them are true. But what if one of them has the value of false Boolean value? So what's gonna happen? It's gonna be false, because to have this condition justified, we have two of them having being true. But if we need just one of them to be true, we can just say or. So if true variable 1 or true variable 2 are true, if one of them is true, let's echo out I am true. So in this case, it's going to work already. I am true. So that's correct. We can do also third. If we tell X or, this basically needs one of them needs to be false in order the condition to work. So right now if I try to echo, it tells I'm true, but if I make two of them true, it's going to be false. So that's it. Just remember, we can just write and or as I have done here, but we can use also science language. In our case, two of these signs are going to mean and two straight lines are going to mean or. So what we have studied are and, or, and XOR operators. Just also make a note, we have also not operators. So if we want to do something when, for example, true variable is false, we don't need to write it in this way. Also, this also will be correct. So if you are going to make the condition work is true variable 2 is false, we can write it like we have done here in this way, but we can also have another nice way. Just put exclamation mark in front of the variable. So this is just gonna say if not true variable 2, if true variable 2 is false, execute code on line 100. If not, it's true, let's execute the line on 102. So that's it about logical operators. Let's also study just two string operators which we can use and we need to know. One is called concatenation. We have already done this here in previous examples. Let's put another BR and let's concatenate. Concatenate means getting two strings or two types of data together. Let's concatenate with BR, for example. Let's write it here. We are here to study PHP. So let's echo it out. Sorry. Okay, we are here to study PHP. Let's see why we don't see it echoed. So let's remove BR. Okay, so that's it. We are here to study PHP. It's correct. So yeah, we forgot to close the BR tag. That's the reason our code was not working. We are here to study PHP. So this is concatenation, and if we are going to add something periodically, for example, let's make a value of add text, and let's give it a value. I am number 1, and sorry, I was just a bit in JavaScript. We are just adding $sign in PHP. We use let just in JavaScript ES6. So if we need to add something to this without concatenation, we can just tell $sign. We can just say $sign add text point equal, let's give it a space, and I am number 2. Let's see what we get by echoing out add text. Okay, I'm number 1 and I'm number 2. that's correct, and we can concatenate as much as we want. This is exactly very useful when we are going to use loops like for each, while, and other types of loops in our applications. So we will use this in real life examples, and you can see later how powerful all and how much we need all these operators that we have studied together. So thank you for watching the video. We will continue our next lesson studying PHP loops and functions and arrays, and after that we are going to pass more funny part, which is handling PHP forms and doing some writing and coding some nice applications.